All right, superlatives time. Week 14, 2022 NFL regular season has come and gone, except for one game tonight, Patriots at the Cardinals. We'll have our 10-second preview of that coming up later in the hour. For now, though, superlatives. Myles, you're up.
All right, let's go to Charlotte, where the Panthers knocked off well, they didn't do it in Charlotte, as I messed this up, but that's where they play, right? And that's where they were flying back.
They're back
from
in
Seattle
Charlotte
last
now.
night.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. They're back in Charlotte now. But you know what? They've got Steve Wilks, who's done a really, really, really good job as the interim coach. And I think it's time to take that tag off, right? I think that Steve Wilks has shown that he can be the full-time head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Now, they're 4-4 since Wilks took over. They were 1-4 with Matt Rule this year. And I think that the fact that they've been so competitive just says a lot about how he's been coaching them. I mean, I don't know exactly what Steve Wilks wants at quarterback. You know, I mean, he's got Sam Darnold playing pretty decently well right now. He's got Ben McAdoo as an offensive coordinator, but they've had to cycle through Baker Mayfield, PJ Walker, and now they're in Sam Darnold. And to the fact that they're 4-4 through these 8 games and that they control their own outcome in the NFC South is a real credit to him. So I think he's done enough to at least merit serious consideration. And frankly, if it were me, I would just hire him outright.
The interim coach bump can be problematic, and I have recommended against it when it's a late season hire with just a few games left, because I think what can happen late in the year, the players get their act together just long enough to help that guy get the job, because they don't want to have to worry about a new boss. They're more than content to keep a guy they know, a guy that likes them, and a guy that will be indebted to them if they play well enough the final few weeks of the season to get him the job. I think the longer the interim coach serves, the less of a chance there is of that becoming a problem. And I think in this case, it's less of a chance of it becoming a problem. Now, it could defy the secret plans of David Tepper, the oligarch who is ruminating on who he can go out and throw a big pile of money to come in and turn this woe-begotten team around. That's the problem, because he said himself on October 10, if Steve Wilks does an incredible job, he'll be the full-time coach. Well, I think he's kind of done an incredible job with the bad hand that he's been given. So what does incredible job mean? We're going to find out when the season ends. And I think for now, Tepper just keeps his head low and his mouth shut, and let's see what happens. Maybe this problem takes care of itself and I can go hire the guy that I want to hire. Or maybe they get to the playoffs and maybe he wakes up one day and he realizes this is the guy I should hire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that incredible job thing can have a lot of it can be a moving goalpost, if you will, right? Because what does that really mean? I mean, is there any objective criteria for that? I don't know. But like I said, at least for now, I think Steve Wilks has done a better job than could be expected going into that situation.
And you know what, Myles? Just the fact that you would put that label on the guy, think about what the word incredible means. Like, you're setting the bar pretty damn high. And you're handing him a shit team, frankly. Like you're expecting, that's his only chance. That's all he can do. Right. It doesn't matter how he interacts with the staff. It doesn't matter what mastery he shows of the game. It doesn't matter what he manages to get from this bad team that is so bad. Matt Rule got run out during his 3rd season. It has to be incredible. It can't just be mildly credible. It can't just be he's doing a good enough job to earn an opportunity to do it next year. I think that maybe we should have reacted a little more strongly. I feel like I should have reacted a little more strongly to that statement in the moment. It's got to be incredible. Well, why? Why does it have to be incredible? Why does he have to be Superman to earn consideration? How about, 12 games, 11 games on the job, showing you can get it done, showing that the players respond to you. And maybe if we have better players and they respond, the team will be even better. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. We're supposed to be handing out superlatives here, not going off on a rant on how David Tepper is going to do wrong by Steve Wilks, but we'll see what happens. This is the Doug Flutie Award, because Doug Flutie, the last guy to execute an intentional drop kick in the NFL. He did it on an extra point in, I think, what was his final NFL game with the Patriots more than a decade ago, more than 15 years ago. Yesterday, though, Giants punter with an unintentional drop kick, but he pulled it off. The ball hits. I don't know how this happens by a professional athlete who punts for a living, where the ball, like, you do your drop and it's all timed very, very perfectly. I guess he saw everything collapsing around him and it freaked him out. But they do it thousands of times. Catch, drop, kick, catch, drop, kick. It becomes second nature, like breathing. You don't even think about it. That looks so ungainly and clumsy. It looked like something I would do, but he managed to get the club on the ball. The ball was moving, and he swung at it, and he got it off, so good for him.
But it was an illegal kick, so, I mean, that's nice, but what did you really accomplish?
I still like it. I like it.
I don't know.
It's a drop kick.
Yeah, it's a drop kick.
If it would have gone through the goalpost, it would have been 3 points.
Oh,
if it would have gone through the goalpost, it would have been 3 points.
Yeah, and if I had a lot of money, I would buy a Ferrari or whatever it is that we usually say, right?
That was our way of addressing the Eagles-Giants game, which was a blowout, which was ugly, and the Giants are sinking. They have basically a playoff elimination game coming up on Sunday night against the Washington Commanders, because whoever loses that one is done, and it sure looks like the Giants are on their path to being done, especially since they still have to play the Eagles again. All right, Myles, what else do you have?
Hey, Mike, we've got Eagles-Giants on the rundown for later in the show. Sorry, that wasn't necessarily our only way.
We may erase it.
Yeah.
We may erase it. You assume foolishly that I've read the whole rundown.
No, I know that you haven't. That's why. Because you never usually do. All right. Anyway, I'm going to break a rule and just kind of go off the board because I was at this game and I kind of want to talk about it. But welcome to Hollywood. And that's for Baker Mayfield. And I'm breaking the rule because I'm going back to Thursday night. But it's week 15 superlatives. So I was still in week 15.
Hey,
but
if you read the rundown, you're allowed to break a rule.
Okay. Thank you very much. Because how did this happen? I mean, the entire day I'm thinking, what in the world is Baker Mayfield possibly going to start for if he's been there less than 48 hours? And lo and behold, he does something absolutely incredible. I still cannot believe that they went down the field and were able to score. Ben Skoranek mossing defenders. That is when I said this is going to happen. And then for whatever reason, you're playing press against Van Jefferson. Baker Mayfield says after the game, I couldn't believe that they were doing that. I think he used the word, I was pretty shocked to see that that's the defense they were playing with about 15 seconds left and the Rams didn't have any timeouts. That was as fun as I've had covering a game in a long time. That was some fun stuff to see right there. And I guess, if the Raiders can lose to Jeff Saturday's Colts, they can lose to 2-day Baker's Rams.
And it really was amazing. Because the game is kind of like going into like, is there anything else I can justify doing tonight than watching this game? But the Mayfield stuff at least made it interesting. And I thought they were throwing out the idea of Baker starting to get people to tune in. And then we tune in and it's John Wolford. And then they realize after one drive, there's a reason he's John Wolford. There's a reason he's the backup that we don't believe in. Let's put Baker in there and see what happens. And it really was amazing. And I agree with you. The moment that he threw the pass to Skoranek, that was the sit forward on the edge of your seat moment. They got something going because, my God, it was 90 seconds left with no timeouts, 98 yards, right? And it's like, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen. They had the moment where Tillery knocks the ball out of his hands and then he throws the ball to Skoranek, and it's like, oh, my God, this is going to happen. It really was something. And it's a shame. The bright, shiny objects, they're very helpful for the NFL when the time comes to turn the page on a controversy. But the problem is Sunday's games kind of make us forget about what happened Thursday. We shouldn't forget about that. And it does make the game next Monday night very interesting when Baker Mayfield and the Rams go to Green Bay.
Yeah, it certainly does. Mike, it's funny. I mean, I was sitting with some writers from the LA Times in the press box, and I turned to Sam Farmer and I said, man, if the Rams are able to pull this off, I mean, starting at their own 2-yard line with no timeouts and 1:45 on the clock, then that defensive staff of the Raiders should probably have to walk home. And lo and behold, what did they do? I couldn't believe it, man. I just couldn't believe it.
Last one on the way out the door. I'll call this the Joe Green Award. This refers to an iconic TV commercial from about 12 years before Myles was born, but it did happen. It's the one where
I know this one.
Joe Green asks for a Coke, and Joe Green throws the kid his jersey, right? This is Dre Greenlaw after intercepting Tom Brady during the game, having the chutzpah to ask Brady for an autograph of the ball after the game. And I got to give Tom Brady credit. You know, a lot of times what will happen is when Tom Brady takes one on the chin, he disappears. And he didn't. I'm surprised. You know, how many times did he snub Nick Foles? Like, he hung around, and I think he understands. Number one, I'm back home for only the second time in my career. Number two, these guys could be my teammates next year. Maybe that's the deeper message here. Maybe, just maybe, Tom's going to come knocking on the door, and this time they're finally going to open it for him.
Hey, you know, you keep saying that this is only the second time in his career. I mean, he's played in the Bay Area before in Oakland, all right? So it's not like, you know, it's that. I understand that it's the team he grew up rooting for. Don't bother me with facts. You know, I know.
Don't bother me with facts.
I just feel a little compelled to say that, you know, there used to be a second team in the Bay Area that was technically closer to San Francisco than the San Francisco 49ers play in, you know, where they play in Santa Clara right now. So
where they play now is closer to Oakland.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. I know.
Here's Greenlaw. Do we have Greenlaw talking about why he asked Brady to sign the ball? Here it is.
It seemed a little bit ballsy to go up to Brady after the game to have him sign that ball. What inspired you to do that?
Man, the worst thing he could tell me is no. So, I mean, you know, I was always told if you don't ask, you'll never know. So, I mean, he's a good guy to be able to sign that ball after he didn't throw them picks. Like, that's big time. So, I mean, I appreciate him. He's the greatest. He's the greatest. He's a GOAT. So, I appreciate that.
How did you approach him, and what did he say to you?
Yeah, I went like a little fan. I went like a little fangirl. You know, I tried to, you know, soothe him up, make him feel better. So, I'm like, man, yeah, you the greatest ever, man. You know, all that good stuff. But he is. But, I mean, you know, and he was like, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Good job and stuff. And I was like, man, you ain't got to sign the balls. You know, because I knew he looked like he was going through a lot. So I was like, man, you ain't got to sign the balls. And then Fred come over there. Fred's like, you get the ball signed? And I'm just like, yeah, man, now you got to sign these balls. And he signed them. So, I mean, it was cool, man.
Oh, they ran a scam on Tom Brady, softened him up, and then come in with the uppercut, and he did it. But again, you never know how the planets are going to line up after the season. He may end up playing for the 49ers next year. We don't know, although based on yesterday, I don't know why it won't be Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, the two quarterbacks for the 49ers in 2023. When you look at everything Kyle Shanahan said about Brady this week, they regret, I believe, saying no to him, not once but twice, because earlier this year, I think he tried again and they weren't interested, and they probably regret that. Although, right now, feeling pretty good about Brock Purdy. All right, let's take a break. The Bills and the Chiefs come out victorious in their chase for the 1 seed in the AFC. We'll discuss that next here on PFT Live. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.